The Compass Within, How to Discover Your Life Purpose. Eli always thought purpose was something that arrived like a package. One day you just wake up, hear a voice from the heavens, and boom, destiny. At 29, Eli was successful in all the ways people post about on Instagram. He had a shiny title, a luxury apartment with glass walls, and a calendar full of events with people who called him bro, but barely knew his last name. But deep down, he felt like he was starring in someone else's movie. Every morning, he'd open his eyes, stare at the ceiling, and think, is this really it? One night, after another soul-numbing Zoom meeting and scrolling past strangers with abs and Lamborghinis, Eli cracked. He grabbed a duffel bag, tossed in a few clothes, and drove out of the city like a man possessed. No GPS, no playlist, just silence in the open road. Hours later, he ended up deep in the mountains, where his phone had 0 bars and the stars actually looked like stars. There, under the whispering trees and chirping crickets, the question that had haunted him for years finally shouted, "Why am I here?" The fire and the stranger. On the third day, after hiking miles of winding trails and tripping over his own thoughts, Eli spotted smoke rising from a ridge. Curious and a little hungry, he followed it. That's when he met Martin. Martin looked like someone out of a Hemingway novel. Scruffy beard, weathered boots, and eyes that had seen too much but still twinkled. He stood by a campfire beside a crooked cabin and smiled like he had been expecting Eli. They sat. They shared tea brewed from mountain herbs. They talked. Or rather, Eli talked. He spilled his heart out like a dam breaking. The confusion, the emptiness, the endless race on a treadmill to nowhere. Martin listened quietly, poking the fire with a stick. Then finally he said, "You're not broken, kid. You're just finally quiet enough to hear yourself think. Most people aren't lost. They're just surrounded by too much noise to follow the compass inside them." Eli blinked. "Compass?" Martin nodded, sipping his tea. "Your purpose isn't a job title or some grand mission written in the stars. It's more like a direction. It shows up in clues. What makes you feel alive? What makes you angry? What problems you can't ignore? The problem is," he said, leaning forward, "most people wait for permission to live on purpose." That night, Eli lay in his sleeping bag, wide awake. Not because of bears or bugs, but because for the first time in years, something inside him had turned on. The shift back in the city, Eli didn't burn his life down. He didn't start a YouTube channel or sell everything to become a monk in Bali. Instead, he made small, deliberate shifts. He started journaling every morning, writing not what he did, but what made him feel something. He volunteered at a local youth center. He offered to mentor an intern at work. He signed up for a weekend storytelling workshop. And slowly patterns emerged. He felt most alive when he was guiding people, helping them break mental chains, see their potential, chase dreams they were too scared to say out loud. He remembered something Martin had said, "Your greatest pain often hides your greatest gift." Eli had wandered for years, feeling lost. Now he was helping others find their way. So, how do you find your purpose? Not in a motivational quote, not in your boss's opinion, not in chasing what looks good online. You find it by paying attention to what energizes you, not just what earns you applause, to what you do for free, even when it's hard, to what you can't stop thinking about, even when no one's watching. Purpose doesn't come in one big aha moment. It unfolds with curiosity, action, reflection, and heart. Your purpose isn't out there. It's within you, waiting patiently for you to slow down and listen. So ask yourself, what breaks your heart? What lights your soul? What problem in the world feels personal to you? Because somewhere at the intersection of your pain, your passion, and your talents is a compass. And when you start walking in that direction, life starts to mean something. Remember this, purpose isn't something you find. It's something you uncover, one step, one story, one spark at a time.